Hello my friends, welcome to another zombie preparedness video. Today we're going to be investigating a neat wild food. I'm sure you can see it, but just in case you can't, there it is. And here. And over here. Yep, it's the wild onion. Stick with me, we're going to dig some up and look at the roots. We're going to look closer at the bulbets and the stems, and hopefully we'll find some other forms of wild garlic as well. Wild onion, wild garlic. Stick with me.
That's all. Storm's over. Rain gone. Storm's over.
So right here we're looking at the top of a wild onion or wild garlic. Onion and garlic are members of the allium family, and a nice rule of thumb is if it looks like garlic and smells like garlic and tastes like garlic, then it is. So first thing we're looking at is this fruit top here. And let's pan over to a little bit older one. You can see how these little bulbets on the top of it actually grow right on out. Now, various species grow different ways. There's probably quite a few species of wild onion, wild garlic. But this is a whole bunch of little teeny tiny bulbs. Some species grow large enough so that a single bulb would be as large as that entire bulbet. As they get older, they do get a little bit larger. Here's one that I picked off, and you can see how it's changing colors. This one hasn't sprouted like these here. However, here's another neat one that has that pink top and has sprouted up. Interesting little plants here. So we're going to take a pause and we're going to dig up some root and see what that looks like. Alright, so follow right on down the plant here. We've got the bulbet at the top, and coming right on down the stem. And there we go with the root mass down there. And you can see that little onion right on down there. We'll bring that a little closer because that's as far as I can zoom. Nice little onion. So that's about how deep that one grows. That's 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches deep. They can go as far as 6 inches deep. And the edible parts of this plant are pretty much the entire thing. We have some leaves growing off the central stalk that are all dried out here, so they're not very edible. Not very edible. But the stem we can chop up and eat pretty much just like chives or onion. The stems can be solid like this, or they might even be hollow. Alright friends, I'm going to do a little foraging, and we'll go on back to the laboratory and see what kind of tasty little thing we can make up with wild onions. We'll see you back at the lab. Okay, some prep cook notes. Down here on the bulb, we can pinch in and kind of separate that papery skin, and that just pulls off. Okay, and then we can just slice that off. You notice we have nice little pearly bulbs like this, but then you will have these little cloves that come off on the sides, and you want to get them too. Now, at the top of that stem, we have that bulbette, and that's got that little point at the top and this papery coating over the bulbette. So when you're getting your sprouted bulbette, just look for that little spike and grab it, and that papery covering comes right on off. Find the spike and just pull the papery covering right off. Okay, so the next thing was after you cut the bulb off, this bottom couple of inches has a lot of flavor in it. It is woody. You're not going to be able to eat it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tenderizer and I'm just going to mash them and put them in some water, which is going to be part of cooking the rest of the stuff. So I've taken those mashed stems and added them to some water here, and we're just bringing that up to a boil, and we're not going to do a whole lot there. We're just kind of making a little bit of a preparatory tea here, getting some of that flavor out of those mashed stems, maybe some nutrition too. We're just going to let that come up and simmer for a minute. Just a minute. You know, a minute is a long time. I understand that people in the UK have a lot more patience than people in the United States. A pause of 7 seconds, I think, in the UK is kind of acceptable and comfortable. But 7 seconds is a long time here in the US. So I don't think we're going to wait a whole minute. Okay, I think that was enough time. We're just going to let that drip back into the pan. Turn the temperature down. This stuff can go to the compost, but it's just a little too woody, stringy for human consumption. I'm just going to get that out. And get just a tinge of green in there. We're going to add our bulbs. Let that come back up to a boil, and we're going to try and cook them till they're tender. Now, I'm only using a little bit of water here because I intend to reduce the water entirely out by the end of the recipe. So that's why I only have a small modicum of water in the pan, and we're going to let these boil and cook for a little while, and we'll be right back. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes. The bulbs are rather just a little bit crunchy yet. Now we're going to put the bulbettes in. Add a little bit of water. And I think I'm going to find a lid to cover that with. Okay, and we're going to let that simmer for, I don't know, 15 minutes or so. So we'll be back after that time has passed. Alright, these have been simmering for about 10 minutes. And take the lid off. Keeping that heat up fairly high. And I'm going to put my secret ingredient in there. This has been simmering for a good 20 to 40 minutes. These are some red clover blossoms. Red clover is, as you may recall, Trifolium pratensa, which is covered in our clover as a wild food edible, but we really didn't cook with it. These are a nice, pretty purple flower until you cook them, and then they bleach out entirely. The water I used to cook them in, here's another blossom. The water I used to cook them in, I'm going to put in my soup pot so that those nutrients aren't gone. Oh, here's a blossom I missed. So I'm going to take these sepals out. Notice even the leaves are 3 leaves like you would expect any clover, and then we got the sepals down here at the bottom of the petiole. I'm just going to pinch them off, and that's how I prepared them. And we're going to let that one go in purple. Actually, you know, I'm going to take that out. I'm going to use that as a garnish. Alright, we'll be back after this water reduces out pretty well. So with 2 tablespoons of butter in there, the water's just about going out. We are now shifting from boil to saute. And we want to turn the heat way up for this. As the water leaves, we're going to start getting to some caramelization. So we'll be back in a little bit to see that. Okay, so our water's just about gone, and we are into the saute portion. High heat on this. And because it's high heat, we're going to keep our food moving in there. You can see our bulbs are starting to caramelize a little bit. And that's going to be really nice. Break that mass up. Oops, lost a piece. Looking pretty good there. You go a little bit longer maybe and get them more caramelized, but I think we're going to stop here. Turn my heat down. I'm going to dish it up. And a little garnish. And I'll see you at the table. Alright, so here we go. We've got our nice sauteed wild onions and a hint of pleasant bitterness in there. I'm telling you, if you like onions and garlic the way I do, this is pretty tasty. There are a few bits that are just a little too hard for me to handle. Perhaps if I had teeth I could masticate them up. We can eat the garnish. So the clover adds some protein in there. And of course the onions themselves have starch and sugars. That is so tasty. So my friends, I hope you've enjoyed wild onion, wild garlic today. I'm glad you have an interest in wild foods with me. It's nice that we can share that. Folks, thank you for your subscriptions. Thank you for your comments. I like reading your comments. I like responding to you. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. Remember, with onions, if it looks like it, if it smells like it, if it tastes like it, then it is. So, I got that from Green Dean over at eattheweeds.com, by the way. A little credit there. Excellent website if you want to go and explore more wild edibles. And we'll see you on the next video. Remember, the knowledge you carry in your head, it weighs nothing, and it takes no room in your bag.
Storm's over. Rain gone. Storm's over. Oh! Rain gone. Storm's over now. I'm on my way back